Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Allie's Book Nook. Today I'm going to share with you my book haul for September 2025. So all of the books that I acquired. And I actually did pretty good. I think, what is there? 17? 1, 2, 3, 16 books? 17. This one's, I got a couple library books in here. So not too bad. As I drop a bunch of books. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with the library books because these are books that I have to return, obviously. The first one is Kristen Hanna, The Four Winds. This is a historical fiction book, which I also did read in September. So check out my reading wrap up for September if you want to hear my thoughts on this. This was a good book. This was a 5-star book for me. And then the other library book that I checked out is One by One by Ruth Ware. I don't think I'm going to read this right now. I think I'm going to return it because I also want to do it in tandem with the audio, and there's quite a long wait for the audio. So I think I'm going to go ahead and return this for now and just check it out again when I can do it with the audio. But Ruth Ware, that should be good. Okay, the next book, this was a gift to me from my kids. And it's a book called Working from Home with a Cat. So it's just kind of a funny book about, all these things that happen when you work from home with a cat. Like they sit on your computer screen, all that stuff. So it was fun to read it with them because it hit home. Let's see here. Next, let's talk about all the rest of my books I think are used. So we'll talk about the ones I got at the used bookstore, and then we'll finish with the ones I got at Goodwill. So the first one from the used bookstore I got is The One by John Marrs. And I'm so excited to read this. I put it on hold there for next time they got a copy a couple months ago. And they called me and said, hey, The One is in. So I went down and got it. And of course picked up some other books here we're going to talk about. But I'm so excited to read this. I've only read one John Marrs book, and it was one of his thriller books, The Family Upstairs. Is that the one it was? But this is one of his, he has thriller books, and then he has books that are more like what is the word I'm looking for? Skeptical fiction, or almost like sci-fi, I guess. Kind of like, I've heard a lot of people compare these books to Black Mirror. So he's got The One, The Marriage Act, and The Family Experiment. And I think they're all kind of in the same universe. They're standalone books, but all kind of in the same universe. So I wanted to start with The One. Yes, I've just heard nothing but great things about this book. So can't wait to read it. I am waiting for the audio to come available though. So while I was there, I picked up some other books. This one, None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. And I have heard that this is really good in audio because it also has like a podcast format in it in parts. And so I've heard it's really good on audio. So I'm going to do those together too. That'll be my second Lisa Jewell read. The next one, was a new book, but it was there. And, oh, sorry, Lisa Jewell, that's a thriller. This is considered horror, and this is Devolution by Max Brooks, and it's about Bigfoot, which sounded really cool. I've read a couple of his books. So his most famous is probably World War Z. And then he's got a couple, like a zombie handbook and stuff like that. World War Z was a great read. But this sounds pretty interesting. It's the Bigfoot thriller you didn't know you needed in your life, and one of the greatest horror novels I've ever read. That's a quote by Blake Crouch, who's one of my favorite authors. So looking forward to that. The next one I got, really looking forward to this, and this is Run on Red by Noelle Eiley. And I've been wanting to read this for a while. I have read a couple of her books and love them both, but I only have them in audio and ebook on my Kindle. So I wanted a paper copy. I've read like the first chapter of this one, like at the end of, I think it was at the end of Ask for Andrea. But this sounds really good. It's a thriller about these young girls are basically being followed. A rural country road, no cell signal for miles, a terrifying game of cat and mouse. So that sounds really good. I have loved the couple books of hers that I've read, and I'm hopefully going to a book event that she'll be at here in the beginning of November. I'm going to travel to that. So really excited about that. And I'll let you guys know how that goes, but I'm also really excited to read this, and I'm going to try to read that before I go in November. The next one I have picked up is called In an Instant by Suzanne Redfern. So, this was actually recommended by Chris. She has a channel, I think it's called, probably going to butcher it, I'm sorry, Chris, Wax Books and Whimsy or something like that. But I love her content. She does books, and she also does Scentsy, like two of my favorite things. So anyway, this book, she just had great things to say about it. It sounds like it's like contemporary fiction, but very emotionally driven and well written, and just like really gonna get at your heart. So I'm all for that. It's about this girl that one moment 11 lives altered, and a truth only she can see. So these kids go on a ski trip, and there's a car accident, and a bunch of them don't survive. Heart-rending, yet ultimately redemptive. It's a story about the power of love, the meaning of family, and carrying on even when it seems impossible. So better get my Kleenex out for that one. And then still from the bookstore, I think this is the last one I got at that bookstore. In the Dark, a novel by Lawrence Ann White. So I don't know much about this particular book. I don't think I've ever heard of it. But I loved The Maid's Diary by this author. That's what got me, part of what got me back into reading. And yeah, basically took me out of a really long reading slump, and what really got me into thrillers. That book is excellent, The Maid's Diary. If you haven't read it, pick it up. But this one, it says, you're cordially invited to a relaxing stay at a forest shadow lodge, but you won't make it out alive. A secluded mountain lodge, perfect getaway, so remote no one will ever find you. And really looking forward to that one. Okay, so the rest of these are from Goodwill, which is a thrift store, so they're all used as well. The first one is called The Alice Network, and this is a historical fiction. I think it's about some unsung valor of female espionage against agents in the Great War. So I think it's World War II, and they're like a network of underground female agents. So that sounded good. I guess this is probably another historical fiction, Legends of the Fall. So this is a great movie. I'm sure everyone's seen this movie by now, from the 90s, but it takes place in Montana, where I live. So I wanted to read the book and see if it was as good as the movie. It'll probably be better, but it's been a really long time since I've seen the movie. So and it's kind of in the homesteading days in Montana. Does it say the year? October 1914. Three brothers rode from Choteau, Montana to Calgary in Alberta to enlist in the Great War. An old Cheyenne named One Stab rode with them. Okay. So this was its own haul to Goodwill. I found two books by the same author in different areas of the store. Haven't read them, but I've heard great things about these books. The first one is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. And I heard great things about this. This is a thriller novel. And then his other book that they also had, another thriller. I think this is his newest one, All the Sinners Bleed. So, hardback for this one. I didn't say the prices on the ones from the other bookstore, but the new one was $8, the Devolution, and all the other ones were cheaper. They were used. Goodwill, all paperbacks are $2 and hardbacks are $3. So this was $3. Okay, I have 4 more books here from Goodwill. The next one is sci-fi, Robert A. Heinlein, Citizen of the Galaxy. So I don't know. I just picked this up because I haven't read him in a long time. I used to be really into sci-fi, like especially there was a point where I was really into sci-fi written in like the 60s. And so that area, Philip K. Dick, Robert Heinlein, I loved Stranger in a Strange Land. He also wrote Starship Troopers. I had read a bunch of his books, but it's been a very, very long time, like 20 years. And so I thought, oh, this sounds good. It's kind of, you know, a story about this this kid that okay, another orphan boy sold at auction, and then his new owner takes him in and basically realizes that he is not an ordinary boy, and you know, maybe the fate of that civilization depends on him. So yeah, that could be entertaining. This was, what year was this written? Probably a long time ago, 1957, and then the copyright was renewed in 85. So next book I got was Joyland by Stephen King. This must be a really old one. Who Dares Enter the Funhouse of Fear? So it's like scary, like theme park, I guess. This was published, 2013. Maybe it's just supposed to look vintage on the cover. All-time best-selling author Stephen King returns with a novel of carny life and death. Life is not always a butcher game. Sometimes the prizes are real. Sometimes they're precious. This is a short book for Stephen King. Under 300 pages, 280 pages. So haven't really heard much about this one. I'm not in a big hurry to read Stephen King right now with like everything going on recently politically. I think he's a great, talented author, but he should just stay in that space. And some of his recent comments, I'm not going to get into it, but it was a little bit disheartening. But I'll probably read that at some point. And I do plan on reading 11/22/63. So yeah. And I also still want to read Fairy Tale. Okay, 3 more books I picked up. This one is called Little Mercies by Heather Guenkoff. I haven't read any of her books, but I know she wrote The Quiet Tenant. Or was it The Overnight Guest? It was The Overnight Guest. So I do want to read this. I don't even know if this is a thriller, though. It doesn't really say what it... Wait, does it say? Shows how one small mistake can have life-altering consequences. And it says, deeply moving and exquisitely lyrical. This is a powerhouse of a novel. So I think it's just like a contemporary fiction book. But I don't know much about it, obviously. But for $2, I'll give it a try. 2 more books. The next one is a classic, Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express. So I love thriller mysteries, but I've never read Agatha Christie. And you guys know she's the OG mystery thriller author, and this is probably her most famous book. She wrote a ton of books back in the day, but yeah, there's like 3 pages in here that list all her titles. This was written in 1934, so almost 100 years ago. So we'll see how it holds up. And then the last book I got is Never Let You Go by Chevy Stevens. I haven't read any of her books, but she's a thriller author, and I've heard really good things about her books. So she actually has a new one that's just come out. And this is, let's see, the gripping, often terrifying story follows Lindsay as she endures the roller coaster that is survival, and in the end finds an outcome that she never expected. It's about, she escapes an abusive marriage with her daughter, and then 11 years later, her home's invaded, and she's convinced it's her ex-husband, but it looks like it might be someone else. So then it's like, if it's not him, then who is it that wants her dead? So anyway, yeah, I've heard really good things about this author, so wanted to give that a try. So those are all of the books that I acquired for September 2025. A little bit lighter of a book haul month, which is fine. I have plenty of books to get through. And October is going to be a really heavy one. So for October, I'm going to have a lot of books. It's my birthday month. So basically I wanted books or money for books. And then I did this little thing. I will talk about it more next month, but I called it 40 for 40. So it's my 40th birthday in a couple days. And so I spent 2 days during my birthday week, the last 2 days, going to 40 little free libraries in the area. There is an app that you can download for all the little free libraries, a free app, and it will show you where they all are in your area. And then you can click on them and get directions to all of them. And there's a ton around me. So I was able to do that in a couple days, and I had I think 30 books that I had been saving over the last year that I donated back to them. I don't know how many I got offhand. I don't think I got 30, but maybe 20, 15 or 20. Plus I did some other book shopping, so that's going to be a little crazy. Just letting you know. So good thing that it was not too crazy in September. 17 books would take me a couple months to read. So I guess I better get started on it. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books, what your thoughts are on them. Is there any that I should prioritize out of this pile? There's a couple that are really sticking out to me that I want to get on. But you never know. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this type of content, please consider giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel, interacting through the comments. I love talking to you guys, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.